Hey listeners, just a quick note that the first 7 episodes of this series were recorded before the tragic passing of Akira Toriyama. We hope that by sharing our love and passion for what he has created, we can somehow honor his memory.
Yep, you will be missed, Akira. Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing, awesome episode of Nerdy Jock Media Presents Dragon Ball Z Megapod. This is my co-host DK, who can also reverse engineer any spaceship, probably.
Yep, and I'm here with my co-host Kevin Ketchum, the Nerdy Jock, who always trains at 20 times Earth's normal gravity.
That's right. And we are here with an amazing episode for you guys today. We're going to cover episodes 46 through 56. We are getting right into the heart of the FRIEZA saga on Namek.
This is a good one. These are a lot of good episodes. So if you're not following us on social yet, please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever it's called at any future time. And also make sure that you like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and leave us a review if you're listening on any of the various podcast mediums out there.
We want 7 stars, not 5 stars. We want all 7 stars.
That's right. All 7, baby. Let's jump into this because this is a crazy run of episodes.
This is one of my favorite 10 episode runs by far.
It's all canon, right?
Yeah, all canon. Every one of these episodes.
Little sprinkles, little accents of non-canon, but yeah, just it's all canon and some of the best stuff. This is like up there with Saiyan Saga level good.
Now, can you give us a quick recap like you do on every episode, DK, of what just happened in the last episode?
So what just happened is we were introduced to FRIEZA. Okay. We're introduced to somebody that we know Vegeta has deference for. A planet that he was in a Bacta tank on was named after FRIEZA, and it wasn't the only planet named after FRIEZA because it had a number. It was 56 or something like that. So we know that this is a guy that Vegeta is subservient to. Our heroes land on Namek, where FRIEZA is, and his 2 lieutenants, Zarbon and Dodoria, as well as a gang of FRIEZA minions. They're there alone, they don't have Goku, they don't have anyone, and they're not that strong.
Yeah.
They're not that strong. We don't realize yet, but I think we do realize that's what the stakes are. They're not that strong, and Vegeta and somebody who is just as strong as Vegeta arrive shortly after them. And then their ship is destroyed. They're stranded. Yep. So now they're stranded on a hostile world with a guy who absolutely wants to kill them, Vegeta, and other guys that probably want to kill them too. They just don't know it yet.
Great recap. Fantastic. So much to get going on this episode. We might as well just go right into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
We got to get into it.
We got to get into it because this is just a great run here. Okay, episode 46, guys, is called Defying Orders. With the odds rapidly mounting against them on planet Namek, Krillin and Gohan will need some serious help if they hope to recover the Dragon Balls from FRIEZA and his men. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Goku is still recovering in the hospital, and though he has his doctor's orders to stay in bed, he won't let that stop him from going to Namek.
Yeah, so the bulk of it is what's going on the planet Namek.
Yeah, and by the way, we're just going to tell you once because every episode is canon. Check it out in the manga as well.
Right. We know that Frieza already has 4 Dragon Balls, so he's more than halfway towards his goal. One of the first glimpses that our heroes get of Frieza is they feel the entire entourage flying towards them, and they hide. Yep. And you just see these lights zooming by. Choo, 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 choo. And then we kind of have that Last Samurai moment where we see it a little bit slower. Krillin throws down his hat and rip to that hat. Right. It was a great hat we talked about in the last episode.
Loved it.
And they realize he basically says all of them are stronger than us.
Yes.
He's like those 2 dudes talking about Zarbon and Dodoria. They were stronger than anything I could have imagined, and the other guy made them look like nothing. They're like the small guy in the front or the back or whatever, talking about Frieza, made them look like nothing. And they're stranded there. Like, what are they going to do? How are they going to get Dragon Balls? How are they going to wrest them away from this adversary?
Yeah, this is a great way to set the table, okay? You destroy the ship that they need to get back.
Right.
So we take away any kind of real hope right now of our heroes kind of escaping on their own. They're going to have to get through this mess.
Goku's bones are still dust.
Yep,
he's not coming to save them. They're stranded. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, not yet. And then we find out also that, no, hey, Vegeta's there, but also eat those even more powerful characters. So
Right.
there's multiple things going on right now, different dynamics, 3 or 4 different big situations about to unravel, all in front of these guys right now. So, and they just got there, man. That's what's crazy, is they literally just landed on Namek not too long ago.
Right.
And so first things first is when you go to another alien planet that might be hostile, which obviously at this point seems pretty hostile.
Right.
You're going to have to set up camp. So thank God Bulma has a capsule corpse.
Right.
A capsules, and they find a nice cave, and then they make a home in the cave. So they set up a spot there.
Out of sight, out of mind. No one knows where they are. They're not going to detect them. But Krillin and Gohan have to take charge.
Yeah.
They're like, we have to get these Dragon Balls somehow.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they just saw a very horrific thing, a very, horrific in terms of its revelatory sort of implications, where they're like, oh, this guy is just way stronger than anything. They're still like, well, we have to follow them. But they're like, well, we can't fly because then their scouters will pick us up. So we have to push our power levels and just basically like power run to where they are.
Or just kind of like float, like
Like, doo-doo. Like they kind of look like little fleas, like doo-doo,
yeah.
doo-doo,
That's cool.
doo-doo.
Yeah, that was a cool moment too. It's like, okay, it's very Metal Gear Solid. This is like the stealth episodes of the series for Dragon Ball.
If we ever do a gaming pod, we got to talk Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, we will.
My favorite gaming series of all time.
Amazing. We love you, Hideo. Can't wait for the next one. Also, so Bulma sets up house. She satellite calls Earth, which is convenient as hell.
Right.
And great. We're glad she can do it. Okay.
Which can I just point out really quick?
Yeah.
We've already established that it would take light traveling at the cosmic speed limit, the speed of light, over 43,000 years to reach Earth from Namek. Yet the satellite has the ability to break the speed of light because she's having a real-time conversation with like Master Roshi, right?
Hey, like I said last episode, invest all your money in Capsule Corp, okay? Because that's where the good stuff's at. So basically, this is actually an important scene to actually talk about, is that because they need to relay the message that Goku will be coming to Namek, basically.
Well, Bulma needs to first tell them the situation.
Right.
Because she originally, I don't think we touched on this.
Oh, yeah.
Originally, Krillin was like, just, Apocalypse Now this situation.
Right.
Like, you fucking leave us here and come back with Goku once he's healed.
Right.
And stuff like that. And we'll just hold it down and try to get a Dragon Ball. Just give us the radar. And Bulma was all too eager to do that, but the spaceship was destroyed.
Yeah.
So couldn't do that. So then Vegeta showed up. And it's
that's what I meant to say, is that Vegeta, like, that was a big thing. Is like, oh crap, hey, just so you know, Vegeta is here and we are gonna need backup regardless.
Right.
So that's important to know.
And what's fucked up about it too is that, like, even if Goku comes, that's no guarantee that they're gonna fare well against Vegeta.
Yeah.
Because Goku at this point is still much weaker than Vegeta.
Yeah. And he barely survived their last interaction on Earth, barely.
Right.
And, so while they are back on Earth, just a quick note, we don't need to go deep into this, but Roshi does sexually assault Goku's nurse again. He grabs her butt and he just goes on it. So we're not going to go deep on that, but Roshi, do better. You can do better. Be better. We love you, though.
He's nothing if not consistent.
Yeah, he is consistent.
Yeah.
Okay, luckily, back on Earth, Yachirobe shows up with 7 senzu beans for Goku. Of course, he's been waiting on these for like a month. Korn was still growing them. He said they won't be ready, but now we know they're ready. Goku eats it quicker than, whatever. And
he flexes
boom.
his bandages off.
Bandages fly.
Right.
Takes basically, senzu bean, it's like, 100 loads of HGH in one hit. And this guy just
And
goes for it.
BPC 157
Give
or
me it
whatever.
all.
Yeah.
But it's a senzu bean. And so he takes it, he's fully healed, which is like, you're like, okay, come on, let's go.
His bones were dust.
Yes.
And then he ate a bean and his bones reformed. The sinew and the tendons and the ligaments that hold them together reformed. Yeah.
One day, technology will get us there.
Hopefully. You know what? This is kind of a dumb thing about me as a kid. Is I tried to invent senzu beans when I was 10 years old.
That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, well, maybe if I put like like maybe if I water them with ginseng tea, they'll, something like.
What bean did you use? Did you use edamame, which would be the natural choice?
Actually, I did use soybeans. Actually.
Oh wow, soybeans.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's a really good guess. Out of all the beans you could have chosen, I chose soybeans.
I've thought about this as well. I'm like, if I do make if there's a live action Dragon Ball Z movie, and you have to have senzu beans, that would be edamame for sure.
They are a little green.
Yeah, they're green.
Yeah,
they're like freaking.
They're like crunchy edamame.
They are exactly. So
I didn't think about it as deeply as I do now about the implications of what a senzu bean can actually do, but I thought it would be cool to grow a bean that just gives you like a boost of some kind. So like I was like, oh, you could water it with ginseng. Because ginseng, like gives you a boost. You could put B vitamins in it. I mean, nothing ever happened. Yeah. I think it actually like sprouted. It started to grow, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. If you plant, so maybe it wasn't a fucking edamame because I don't know if they sprout.
It's definitely a super food. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. So it didn't work out. I'm sorry. Even though I'm the DB guru, I was not able to invent a senzu bean.
You tried, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Goku calls for Kintoon. Flying Nimbus, he calls for his cloud, and he jumps right on it and heads to Dr. Brief's Capsule Corp headquarters / home.
Right. And this is where we get to meet. I know we met her in Dragon Ball.
We met her in Dragon Ball for a moment.
Yeah. Bulma's mom.
Yeah.
Who we actually looked this up because we were talking about this off pod and we're like, what's her name?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't remember if it ever says, and I guess she has a name, but Toriyama never gave her a name. Yeah, so officially she has no name. She's always known as Bulma's mom. She looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a
stunning
20-something-year-old daughter, and she looks, it's like that cliche, like she could be her sister.
Yeah. She looks like she's maybe just 30. But anyways, the funny thing is, Bulma's mom meets Goku, and she just immediately starts hitting on Goku.
Right.
Yeah. She's like, oh, yeah, you're looking great. You want to go on
you grew up into such a strong, handsome man.
Yeah. She's like, do you want to go on a date sometime? Like, literally, I think that's what they said. She says, you want to go on a date? And she's like, he's like, maybe some other time. And like, he didn't even think about it. And she's like, I was like, dude, she's like, well, let me take you to my husband. So what is going on here, Dan? What is the deal with Bulma's mom? Are they...
I think they're swingers.
I think they're swingers.
I think the Briefs are swingers. Or I think that Dr. Briefs is just a very sex positive guy.
Yeah, that's the way to phrase it.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the layout of this world, people, it's wilderness and it's cities. And all the cities have buildings that are capsule shaped.
Yeah.
Dr. Briefs is like the only genius in this world, basically. And he is keeping society together, and he cares about two things. We know he likes making technology that is, life changing and amazing, and he likes listening to good jams.
Yeah.
And he likes smoking cigarettes. So he's like, he already had a kid. He had a kid who he passed on all of his genius to. So I'm sure once she was like 4 and crawling around and put a robot together, he's like, okay, mission accomplished. And he's like, honey, go get your needs met.
Yeah.
I'm going to go listen to Led Zeppelin in the spaceship.
So big props to Dr. Briefs for being sex positive and forward thinking, even back in the 80s when he was writing.
He was he was encouraging of Bulma in Dragon Ball to explore her blossoming sexuality when she introduces him to Goku. And because Goku goes to her because there's the Red Ribbon Army and he needs the radar and stuff like that. She introduces him to Goku, and the first thing he says, and he says it in a neutral tone, he's like, okay, you guys gonna go make out now or something?
Yeah.
And it's like,
awkward.
And he wasn't like being a dad about it.
Yeah.
He was just like, okay, if you guys want to go, have fun in the other room, go ahead.
I bet you Dr. Briefs was like, he was the cool dad in high school, probably. He was like that. He was like, oh, sure. He's like, oh, I just made my own beer. You guys want some beers? I crafted it myself in the science lab. Here, have some fun. Be safe, guys. Don't drive anywhere. Just hang out and party here. The cool.
Oh man, we talk a lot about sort of the world building side plots that we would love to see and live in. I would love to see Bulma's high school years, partying with her friends at Capsule Corp, and just like what everybody's impression of her dad would be.
No, I think it's very Ferris Bueller's Day Off-esque. That would be the tone. That'd be the tone. It'd be fun. It'd be active. It'd be, could be a little bit of Animal House. Who knows?
Bulma briefs day off.
Bulma briefs day off. But either way, we just wanted to give a shout out to Bulma's mom and Dr. Briefs for this.
Yeah. Hey, look, they're very healthy. They know what they want. They ask for it. There's no animosity. They have their boundaries, and
they move on.
Yeah. And that's it.
Now, another quote, another thing to point out from this scene is that Dr. Briefs designs Goku's ship. I mean, he rebuilt it from the ground up, and I think
at like 10 times scale,
and
too.
It's huge. It's ginormous. And the most important thing about this is that Goku specifically asked Dr. Briefs to be able to have the same kind of training that he got from King Kai with the ability to train in stronger gravity. And of course, Dr. Briefs never letting anyone down ever. By the way, he has never let anyone down. He makes the spaceship that Goku can train up to 100 times Earth's gravity in.
All right, here's another dumb revelation about young Dan is that I also tried to invent a gravity chamber when I was a kid.
I mean, let's be real. Everyone who's watching here, all the DBZ fans, we know you're watching. We know what's up. We all want that gravity. I still want that gravity.
I didn't understand as a kid because I didn't understand the concept of lift and thrust.
Right.
With airplanes, and I was like, okay, like I didn't understand how you can keep a cabin pressurized. I just assumed, there's a bunch of air outside. Maybe that has something to do with it. So I was like, maybe if you fill walls with a bunch of fans that are blowing, it'll increase the gravity. Because I was dumb. I was a dum-dum. I was a 9-year-old kid, but I really, really wanted to train in higher gravity. And for anybody who had a local fair come, the giant flying saucer, the Gravitron, and stuff like that.
Love that machine.
It would use centrifugal force to suck you G-forces against the wall.
And you go up?
Yeah. Me and my friends would always resist the gravity and try to we were like, whoa, it's like Dragon Ball, we're training and stuff like that. And we would always get kicked off the ride. Like they're like, oh yeah, you're not allowed to ride this ride for the rest of the day.
Oh my God.
And we didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
We were just standing and resisting the forces. But yeah, I mean, this is what inspired in a young DK.
But I think every human on this planet, we have a little bit of gravity training as infants. Right. Just like the Saiyans, they're trained at a young age to push up, crawl. We get it. We learned it.
And I think the ship is like a day away from completion.
Right.
And the only thing missing is Dr. Briefs doesn't know where the most intuitive place to place the sound system is. And, as an audiophile myself, I appreciate that.
Who do you think, just to not to go into deep detail here, but who do you think Dr. Briefs listens to? If he was real, who would you think he listened to? What's his favorite band?
It was made in the 80s, and he is already, you think, 40s or 50s, him.
I think he's got to be a Beatles fan for sure.
I think psychedelic stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
Honestly, yeah.
A little more.
I think he's like a Steve Jobs type dude, where he has genius that is inspired by psychedelic experiences.
I mean, Beatles did that too,
but has more of the technical side of a Steve Wozniak or something like that. Beatles got psychedelic, but I feel like
so he's more of a Pink Floyd kind of guy, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, okay. Pink Floyd.
I could see that.
If he was living now, probably Tool. Honestly,
there you go.
Yeah.
And if you're watching on YouTube, guys, and not just listening, write in the comment section, what kind of music do you think Dr. Briefs would listen to? Because he's an audiophile. We want to know.
You know what we should do for our fans? And we can just, maybe. So nobody hold my feet to the fire about this, but you can get voicemails that people can call into. Yeah. And we could just wrap up pods if people call in and say stuff. We can play messages and respond to questions, stuff like that. That'd be a fun thing.
That'd be fun. All right.
Anyways.
Add it to the agenda. And that's it. So basically, Goku jumps in the ship, literally doesn't take a moment to say bye to Chi-Chi or anyone else there. He's like, okay, I gotta get the Namek. Let's effing go. And he jumps in the ship, starts to train immediately, turns gravity up to 20 times Earth's gravity, which is 10 times what he trained on in King Kai's planet. And he says, let's go for it. And that's basically how these next 10 episodes go. It is boom, 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 boom.
And that attitude, the training thing, we've touched on this, I think, in a past episode. I don't know how deeply we went into this, but this was a formative, these types of things in the show were formative to who you are as a man in terms of how much you give to your own training, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so something that people don't really know about me. When I was younger, I did Kung Fu. I trained a lot. I competed internationally a couple times. And I had that same mentality.
Yeah.
It's like the idea that you always have to go past your limits.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a recurring theme. We'll talk about that a little bit later in another episode too, but that's a great point to make right now, because he says, you know what, I've got to push it. Let's go harder than we did before. But it also, people at home like me and you watch it and say, you know what, yeah, I can train harder. Let's do our best. Let's put weights on our ankles and like walk around with the weights.
So many people. I mean, I never go to a gym and not see a person in a Dragon Ball Z shirt. At least one person. Hey. Well, I know that the way that I said that grammatically was probably garbage, but that's the point. Anytime you go to the gym.
Just saying.
I saw a dude. I was at the gym.
Just saying.
I was at the gym 2 nights ago. And a dude walked out with like a King Kai symbol shirt. Yeah. He had like the Kaio symbol right there. And this dude, I mean, he was like you. He was jacked. Like if he wasn't wearing that shirt, I'd be like, oh yeah, this guy like played football or wrestled or something, you know?
Just the gym today. I mean, little tangent. We do this. I saw one dude with a Dragon Ball Z backpack at the gym. He was, I mean, older than me, you know?
Right.
Definitely in his mid-40s, up there. Cool Dragon Ball Z backpack. Another guy had his keys were on a lanyard, a Dragon Ball Z lanyard.
Hell yeah.
And another guy with a Dragon Ball Z shirt. So, I mean, hey, and then you guys who are getting motivated by this, do it, man. Do whatever helps you train harder to become the best version of yourself you can be.
And just to pile on that, you got your brakes changed today, right?
Yeah, I got my brakes changed today.
And tell that story really quick.
So, I'm getting my brakes changed today. I'm wearing my other Dragon Ball Z shirt that I wore to the gym, which you will see in some cool social media that we'll be posting in the future too, which you probably will see before this episode even airs.
I have to start a Dragon Ball Z shirt collection.
Well, I was wearing, if you watch the pilot episode of Dragon Ball Z Megapod, I wore the cutoff shirt like all of them are with the training G symbol on it for the Goku's turtle hermit symbol, Kame symbol.
Kame, yeah.
Kame. And you get the guy who working at the brake shop says, oh man, cool Dragon Ball Z shirt. And I was like, thanks, bro. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm a big fan. He's like, yeah, me too. I love Dragon Ball Z. And we had like a 10-minute conversation about it. So,
yeah,
you know, it's cool to wear it out there and just, rep, be proud of it. Rep what you're about, man. You know?
It's a great uniter. I mean, my girlfriend did not grow up with it, and she is a full-on fan at this point, I can say.
There you go.
I mean, sorry if you're listening, babe, and that's not true. But I mean, when she comes over, it's like our show to watch now because we're going through it together, and she's super excited to watch it. And she's not like an anime person, you know. But
it's like we change one person's heart at a time. Let's go.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. All right.
I got to get my girlfriend to try it. I'll get her on Kai like you have. That's a smart choice.
Watch it on Hulu. It's not the most optimal experience. It's very inconsistent. Some episodes are cut, some aren't. Krillin says Taioken. Everybody else says Solar Flare. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah. But it is quicker, and guys, if you're trying to get your girlfriend into it, watch Kai.
Kai's pretty much the only way you can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, but not to discredit there are a lot of amazing female fans out there in the Dragon Ball verse.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But definitely if you're trying, that's a way to go is Kai.
I have one of my good friends, former roommates, Cedric Williams,
Shout out Cedric.
Yeah, for anime fans out there, he was the voice of Cheetu in Hunter x Hunter. He's face on Nick Jr. He was in The Promised Neverland. I don't know the name of the character. If you Google him, you'll find him. He's a really great guy. We've been friends for years, and but his girlfriend has this. She loves Vegeta. She has this amazing Vegeta tattoo. Actually cut all this shit out because I don't know if that's true. I feel like I'm just making that up.
No, I believe you. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Back to
Namek.
Back to Namek.
Okay, we are going right into episode 47. It is called Namek's Defense. Krillin and Gohan get their first real glimpse of Frieza's cruelty as a villain unleashes his evil henchmen upon an unsuspecting Namek village. Frieza wants the 5th Dragon Ball, and he is prepared to learn its location by any means necessary. But the Nameks won't give it up without a fight.
And this is a perfect example, narratively, of the like walk lightly but carry a big stick type of thing. Because Frieza is very polite when he addresses people. He doesn't come in like I'm this haughty ruler and I demand that you do this. Like he's very polite. And but if you don't do what he wants, his sticks, Zarbon and Dodoria, are gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, but that's how you know he's got real power. You know, he's like, I'm gonna be, try to be nice at first, but don't, but tread lightly here,
right?
Because you don't want to piss me off because I do have the power to destroy this whole planet with the snap of my fingers, basically.
Right.
But anyways, it's obviously a canon episode. All these are canon episodes. Another great one here. Now, Frieza quickly introduces himself to the Namekians, asks about the other Namekians and the Dragon Balls, but is met with deafening silence. So Frieza immediately threatens their lives in a nice way. He does it nicely, and he backs down to offer them a chance to speak. And Frieza announces that he has already killed hosts of uncooperative Namekians.
Right.
Yeah. And he did get them to talk, and Frieza does a little exposition. This is a really cool moment here because he explains the history of the Dragon Balls that he learned from the other Namekians that he has already procured the balls from and killed.
And this monologue is actually filler. Like it's not in the books. It's not in Kai.
Yeah.
But it is pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. I was talking to DK off pod about this, and I think I would like to see this turned into a movie, like a 1 hour, one shot kind of thing.
Like the repopulating of Namek.
Yeah. How it works.
Yeah.
So basically, I know it's on the manga, so who knows if it's really canon official for this scene, but I think it was a cool idea here. So basically, Frieza says that the Dragon Balls came to be from the Elder Namek, which we'll talk about the Grand Elder in a few episodes. But basically, he created the 7 Dragon Balls, and that the custody of each Dragon Ball would be given to a different elder. But these elders in the villages who get to hold and care for these Dragon Balls, they have to go through a contest of wit, a contest of strength, and a contest of valor to prove their worthiness to even possess one of the Dragon Balls. But after that, the elder has to make sure that, hey, if you did get all 7 of these balls, even though they're really not about making those wishes, which they could. Right. I don't know why they don't use them more often than they do. But he does he asks them what they would wish for as well. And it had to be, something true, something pure, something that would not be, evil by nature. And I just thought that was a cool, we don't have to go deep into this, but I thought it was a cool little thing. You know what? You could probably write a movie about, like a 1 hour, 45-minute little film about that, like the trials of the Namekian elders,
Yeah, it's a cool little world building thing, even if it's not strictly speaking canon, and even if it might, on its face, a little bit contradict the world building, where it's like, there are certain Namekians who are strong, and there are certain Namekians who have mystical abilities, like the ability to create Dragon Balls. And there are other Namekians that, I don't know, like whatever. So and
they are good at farming.
Right, they're good at farming. And there are some that are really witty. Like when they get into little fights on X, they're the funniest Namekians around.
Exactly.
So I mean it's cool if this elder and all the elders, they were like the best of all of those things, that Venn diagram point.
Exactly. Yeah, so it'd be cool. You know what? Hey, guys, if whoever's watching, Toei, make it. Let's do it. Let's see it. I want to see it.
I'll write it. Hey, I'm a writer, so
there we go.
I got it.
He'll write it. Okay, so anyways, the elders refuse Frieza's demands, and then Zarbon attacks the Namekians, showing immense strength, killing a few Namekians quickly. So another measuring stick moment, right?
Right.
So we haven't really seen Zarbon do any fighting. We saw Dodora do some fighting earlier, or a couple things, and now we get to see Zarbon laying the smackdown, which he does.
Right.
Now Gohan, seeing this, so Gohan and Krillin are actually on a cliff, not too far away, but they're suppressing their ki as much as they can because they don't want to be spotted.
Right.
Because these guys at this point they all have their scouters. So Gohan is enraged, but Krillin warns him calmly to calm down, or they're going to sense his ki. Important for later.
This entire thing with them hiding on the cliff and them having to suppress their ki, this was one of my favorite moments in all of Dragon Ball Z when I was a little kid. Because it was literally like like when you think about it, you remember that when Gohan gets angry, he becomes uncontrollably powerful, and he sometimes loses control of his reason.
Almost like a beast. Right?
Ooh. Foreshadowing is
Dun,
a
dun,
narrative
dun.
tool where things are set up that will be paid off later.
600 episodes and 10 movies later.
Yeah. So, like this to me, because it's like I knew the stakes. It's like Zarbon Dodoria stronger than Vegeta, Frieza much stronger than them. Gohan and Krillin, they are in the snake's nest at this point, and Gohan might accidentally, through just passion and caring about other people, might give them away and might get them killed.
Yeah.
As a kid, like, oh my God, I was just at the edge of my seat this whole thing. It's like one of this whole.
It's good drama. Yeah. Great
God,
moment,
man, like the Namek stuff, man. Like I'm sure people have noticed. If you've been following us this whole time, I appreciate it. When I get really excited, I lose the ability to speak because I'm just like, yeah. Oh man, there's like so much to say, but there's so much world building and great narrative stuff like this on Namek.
Yeah.
This isn't just, ooh, we're sneaking around. Oh, these people are stronger than us. There are so many little balls in motion.
A lot of chessboard playing right now. A lot of really cool things happening.
And it's crazy that he didn't know what he was writing. He was just, it's like, oh shit, it's another week. I got to write 22 more pages. Oh shit, it's another week. He like built this amazing story, literally brick by brick, week by week. You know, and also too would change ideas that he had. If people sent in a letter, I was like, well, I think that this is going to happen. And if that was what was going to happen, he would just abandon whatever he was writing and write something totally new. And he came up with this. It's insane. So anyway,
well, no, that's a great little tangent there, little side plot there. But yeah, it's pretty amazing what Toriyama was able to do. You know, especially if he didn't have a huge playbook going ahead. As we'll see another crazy thing that happens in a little bit later. But I got to keep on track for a second here.
Absolutely, yeah. Continue.
Okay, so Frieza, being the savage that he is, threatens to kill the Namekian children first.
All right, there are two little boys. Like two little Piccolos. Yeah.
And at first you're like, what's going on? What's the importance of these kids? I don't know. But very important. So Gohan powers up. He's not trying to, but he's getting pissed because they're gonna kill these kids.
Right.
And you know, Gohan's got a soft spot for saving children, like most people do. I mean, they're like his age.
Yeah.
It's like his buddies, man.
Yeah.
So Gohan his power levels rises, triggering Dodoria's scouter. But before they can be spotted, 3 warrior Nameks show up. So thank God these warrior Nameks show up. They take the pressure off of Gohan, who was about to get found, and say, okay, never mind, it was these 3 warriors. So saved for a second there, Gohan, but we'll see.
And what's interesting about this too is that we know that Namekians can feel ki.
Yes.
They can feel ki. And the Elder is so excited to see these 3. So he's like, oh yeah, maybe they have a chance.
Yeah.
And we know Piccolo, I mean, obviously very strong, you know, and all that stuff. So there's this brief moment of hope. And this goes back to, I've talked about this before, the narrative tool that Matt Stone and Trey Parker talk about, butts in their force.
Yeah.
It's like Gohan gets enraged. His ki spikes. Therefore, Dodoria's scouter picks it up. So, he's gonna go check it out. But 3 warrior Namekians show up. Blah blah. But they are no match for the thing. Therefore, they get slaughtered. Therefore, eventually, Gohan gets more enraged, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. It's just butts in their force stacked, and it just keeps that tension just driving, baby. It's so good.
Yeah. So basically, once these warriors show up, Dodoria uses his scouter to see their power levels, and they're all around 1,000, so making them laugh. So they laugh. I was like, oh my God, these 3 warriors, 1,000 power level each.
Just 3 Raditz.
Yeah, 3 Raditzes or less, basically. They laugh, then it cuts to Goku training in 20 times Earth's gravity. And he's finally able to walk slowly like he did on King Kai's planet.
Right.
Not super important for plot, but just super important for me personally, because I love these little moments, just where it shows, hey, for 5 seconds, hey, we're going to give you a little power update, see how he's doing. And, you know, it doesn't always have to be emotional growth, especially with Goku. It's never too much emotional growth.
Right.
It's really much about physical. So for him, that's growth.
And you know, one thing I appreciate about Goku's training too is that he overdoes it, but he doesn't overdo it. If he's like, well, the first thing I got to do is learn how to walk. He doesn't force himself to run. He literally he'll walk.
Unless he's, I mean, if he's in a fight where it's do or die, that's different. But yes,
of course, yeah.
Training is definitely he's like, well, let me learn this. Let me go back to the basics. Actually, he says that. I don't know if it's this episode or the next one. But he says, hey, I need to go back to the basics. He's doing like crunches and stuff, and he literally says, I gotta train my body back to get even better, but I need to start at the basics. So. Way to be a great trainer.
It's like he's almost like it's like I got a rehab, I got a prehab, and then I can get stronger. And this is a theme that comes up later, and we'll talk about it when we get to the hyperbolic time chamber, aka the room in spirit and time, where he achieves ascended Saiyan, and he's just like, this is useless though. I'm too slow in this form. And then he says to Gohan, like, let's just experiment with something. Let's not train for a week, and let's just retain our Super Saiyan form. It's like it might feel like we're going slow, but we're like going slow will get us there faster. He's always willing to like break it down in that way. And one of the best compliments that Vegeta ever gives in spite in his mind is like he sees Goku do something. He's like, "Damn that Kakarot! He's a genius."
Oh yeah,
and it's true. If Goku's biggest thing, like we all have our. We have our pentagon of attributes like in a Japanese video game or something like that, and Goku is just very, very smart about how he trains. He is a genius of training, and that's why he can typically stay one step ahead of Vegeta, who has a naturally higher base power level than him.
Well, when you got a single focus like Goku does with training, then you're gonna be pretty good, Right. Try to be the best,
One note that I forgot to say earlier is that we might disagree whether or not he's a good dad, but I think we could both agree he's a terrible husband.
Terrible husband.
Because when you said that thing where it's like, he just hops in the ship and leaves by.
Yeah, didn't
like
say
nothing to Chi-Chi.
Nothing, no.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not. I don't want to go on a huge tangent right now because we actually have so much meat to cover.
Oh, we do, yeah.
But Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi kind of coerced him into marriage. Like, he didn't know what marriage meant when he accepted marriage. So, I think he did the best for the situation he ended up in.
Well, she's a traditional gal. He patted her, and she's like, well, now we have to get married.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and it worked out. So, happy, successful marriage. They're still married.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't say. That'd be another show, like Sopranos, but Chi-Chi is... Soprano, Tony Soprano, and she goes to therapy to deal with her.
Look, everybody got what they wanted. Goku got to train endlessly, and she got a genius son who studies insects. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right, back on track. Episode 48, The Hunted. Okay, unable to stand by and watch the torture any longer, Gohan leaps out of hiding to rescue a Namek boy from the clutches of Frieza's evil henchmen. Now Gohan and Krillin have an even bigger problem on their hands. Dodoria is chasing them, and he won't stop until he has his revenge. Awesome episode, again.
Yeah. I mean, first the warrior Namekians die.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, Dodoria just runs through them like a semi-truck. I mean, like punches through them.
Yes.
It's brutal.
Yeah, these deaths are no joke. I think he kills another one. He snaps another Namek's neck, and you get like a freeze frame. It's like a blue and black and white or blue and gray, kind of like just a still shot. It's just a neck snap.
Oh, I think that's the Elder later, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he kills the warriors. And then Frieza's like, okay, last chance. Tell me where they are, and then I'm going to start in on the kids. And just to show you that I'm serious, and then Dodoria kills one of the kids. It's one of the two little Namekian boys.
Kills the kid.
And then, so one thing that's important is that this Elder Namek, of all of those three things, wit, valor, strength, he's the witty one.
Yeah.
He recognized, he's like, how are they finding us? It's like, it's the little devices on their head. So while they're distracted by the fight, he jumps up and destroys all of their scouters.
Yeah. Pretty cool moment there too.
Yeah.
So you got so much good stuff in this episode, man. So the Elder Namek, he does go to retrieve the Dragon Ball after he realizes, hey, I don't know what to do here.
Right.
Wait, is that before he jumped up. I think.
Yeah,
did we jump the gun here on that one? I don't know.
No, I think he does the Dragon Ball after because I think he destroys their scouters when he's fighting the three dudes. Yeah.
He jumps in the air. He looks down and it's like ding ding ding. Shoots all the scouters, even off the dead bodies of the.
He does it like a gangster too. Like his fingers are like sideways guns. He's like, yeah,
yeah. And then, so he gets the Dragon Balls and he gives it back. He's defiant. And then Frieza asks for the location of the final 2 balls. And then of course
it's like it's a great narrative. Therefore, it's just like he thought he was so clever destroying the scouters. It's like, well, since you destroyed my scouters, you got to tell me the location of the next 2 villages. Yeah, otherwise I'm going to start killing the kids.
And smart of Frieza to be in the moment, say, okay, well, he's always like, he's a tactician. Frieza's like, okay, well, if this happened literally right now, in the moment you destroyed our scouters, now you're going to have to tell me where they are because I can't find them without you.
Right.
So good try by the elders, but I don't know if the payoff is going to be worth it. But anyways, Frieza says kill them all, and Dodoria kills one of the kids, which we just talked about. Just a total brutal moment.
And he snaps the elder's neck.
And then that was tough. He gets a 3rd child. He goes after the 3rd child, enraging Gohan. Almost beast mode. Yeah,
Gohan jumps up, and I love, like, there's just a subtle little thing, like the look that Frieza just gives him. It's like if you just saw like a fly that you weren't expecting to see. Like it's just kind of like, yeah, and stuff like that. And then Gohan kicks unsuspecting Dodoria because they rely on their eyes. They can't sense ki, so he doesn't know the attack is coming. Kicks him into a building. Krillin jumps down, grabs the kid, and they take off.
Yeah. And Krillin's like, dude, what the hell? I literally just told you don't do this shit, and you did it anyway.
Right.
He's like, we are gonna die. So Krillin, obviously smart guy. He's like, let's get out of here, and then they do.
It's a tough choice to make. Because, obviously you want to save the kids, you want to save these people, but I don't need to beat to death, as I've said over and over again, just how much the chips are stacked against them here.
Right. And also, it's also important to note that in this moment, they do the right thing by saving this child.
Right.
And we're not going to spoil it for you, but this child that they save is actually a very important character for the rest of Dragon Ball Z and in the Super.
Right. And we don't know this.
You don't know that. And
but this character starts right here. Yeah. Again, just Toriyama just building brick by brick, week by week.
And this is episode 48. So when we reveal his name, which you guys probably know if you've seen it before, but it's going to be a couple episodes later. Like they literally wait like 3 or 4 episodes before they even introduce this character in full.
So now they're being chased by a dude,
Dodoria,
who as far as they know, has a power much higher than Vegeta's even.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're being chased by him. They're like, we can't get away.
Shoots laser beams out of his mouth.
Right. It's like the second we stop,
we're dead.
We're dead.
So Krillin does say, sorry to interrupt. Krillin's like, fly as fast as you can. We got to survive. But Dodoria's catching up quick.
Right. Oh, yeah. He's like slowly gaining on them because he's got higher power levels. So he can accelerate faster and all that.
Then your boy,
Krillin. And then Krillin has a brilliant idea. He also apes Tien's technique, turns around and does, instead of doing like this, does it like that. Yep. Taioken blinds the Dodoria, which
Solar flare.
Which actually harnesses the power of the sun, which we learn later. Namek has three suns.
3 suns.
So that's a bright ass flash. Yeah, blinds the Dodoria, and then they get away.
Yeah, really cool. Also, want to make one last note. We've said this once, twice, probably a dozen times already, but Krillin has got to be one of the most resourceful characters in the series. We love you, Krillin. One of the best.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, in a world where Saiyans can increase their power exponentially like this, the fact that he can even just keep pace at this rate, it's pretty impressive.
Keep climbing those steps, buddy. We love you.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us right to episode 49. The Prince fights back. Guess what, guys? Another banger, man. Another great episode here.
Every one of the episodes we're talking about today are banger episodes.
I just get excited because I love all these episodes. They just make me happy. I mean, that's why we're doing this.
This was the stuff. I mean, like being a kid and like watching this replay repeatedly at 5:30 in the morning and just like praying like, God, I just want this to continue.
Yeah.
Please don't start it over when Goku like
Right.
does his thing, you know. It's like just please, please, please. And like
They did though.
and you just cling to this, you know,
Yeah.
like this because this stuff was so scary and anxiety provoking. It was so good.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dodoria is looking for Krillin and Gohan. It's like, where'd they go? Where'd they go? Then all of a sudden, just boom, gets hit out of nowhere, and it's Vegeta.
Boom. Dun dun dun. Twist.
Right, who has the ability to sense power. Dodoria is like, oh, hey, is that a scouter? Like, maybe Lord Frieza will forgive you because our scouters have been broken. And Vegeta's like, yeah, sure. It just drops on the ground, breaks it. And Dodoria's like, are you an idiot?
Like this.
Yeah, like, are you an idiot? Now you can't do this. And then Vegeta just haughtily is like, what are you talking about? I can sense ki now, bitch. Yeah, I'm
Another
a different
cool
man.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so cool because like Dodoria, for how many episodes he's in this series? I mean, even when he's not talking, maybe less than 10 episodes alive.
Yeah.
Around 10, maybe 12. Not a huge character, but there are a lot of moments where exposition is revealed through Dodoria or around Dodoria as well. And just the fact that Vegeta's announcing to him, he's like, hey, I can sense ki now, bitch. He's like, I don't need a scouter. Another cool moment for Vegeta.
Right. And this is good stuff too because Vegeta is like the biggest villain the show has seen so far, or at least he's the most developed villain so far. And these little moments where he's at odds with another villain, I mean, this was great storytelling, man.
Good storytelling, man. They did some good work on Namek. I have to be honest with you. When I first saw this as a kid, like I loved it, but I didn't really appreciate it as much as I do until today, you know, like decades later.
Oh yeah.
I'm rewatching it, I'm like, wow. I was like, these Namek episodes are fire. They are all so much fun.
Just like you rewatch Evangelion every year.
Every year.
I reread Raditz through the end of Frieza every single year. For one, because it flies in the manga.
Right.
It's just such a pleasant thing to just go through it, to see the original artwork and all that stuff. But also because it's, these stories that you grow up with, and I'm sorry if I said this too much already, they are physically a part of you. The thing that grows your nervous system, your experiences, are all of the things that you feel in response to stimulus as you grow up, or stimuli. And stuff like that. So all of the feelings that you get from a great story growing up physically make who you are as an adult. And it's nice to just, go back to the source over and over and over again. I mean, anyways, we've gone into the weeds a lot.
Yeah.
Let's chug right along because Vegeta's going to kill Dodoria.
Right.
But Dodoria has a bargaining chip. I think Dodoria tries to blast Vegeta, and Vegeta does like a wrestling move or something, and he's gonna kill him. And then Dodoria tries to bargain his life, and it's like, okay, wait. Let me tell you what happened to your planet. You don't know about this, right? Because you were told that a meteor smashed into your planet. Is this episode? Am I jumping the gun?
I think you're jumping the gun.
All right, never mind.
Wait.
Bulma takes a bath.
Okay.
There's some fan service. Bulma takes a bath.
Not important, but
I was skimming your notes. I was like, was it this episode or
I think it's coming up, but that's important.
Okay.
But I mean, that's cool. You can jump the gun any day. That's not a jump the Gallic gun. I'm just kidding.
Oh God. Yeah, we'll put a bookmark in this, and then we'll come right back.
Okay. Just a little side note. We cut to Goku's ship, and it's just a little funny moment. Give it a little relief from this drama because this episode has been full of drama, a lot of action, a lot of killing, a lot of crazy stuff going on. And Goku gets hungry, of course, because that's what Saiyans do. They train and they get hungry. He goes downstairs to open the fridge, and the fridge is literally like 30 feet high, and like 40 feet wide. It's the biggest fridge you'll see pretty much in the world. It might as well be a walk-in. And he gets pissed. He's like, "Oh man, is this all the food?"
It's like, that all there is?
That's all there is. Is like, dude, it's like literally 3 tons of food. And we just want to make a note that those Saiyans love to eat.
Oh yeah, and I feel that. I mean, you and I are gonna have that Saiyan eating day pretty soon. We're gonna do the Korean barbecue.
I'm stoked. We gotta go soon.
Yeah.
Also important to note that now Goku is also training at 20 times gravity. Last time he was at 10, now he's at 20 for sure.
He started at gravity. He started at 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's accustomed to that gravity. I'm sorry.
Right.
He is in 20. He's been doing 20, but he's been like struggling. Now he's walking around. He's throwing punches. He's doing flips. He's handling this like it's no problem. So another incremental growth by Goku as well. So back to the Doria thing really quick here. We get a huge moment for Vegeta in this episode, in my opinion. Now, you guys at home are watching or listening might not agree with me, but Vegeta has a talk with the Dodoria, and he says, I don't need these scouters, but not in a way full of hubris. It's more of like hey, I've learned that I'm not always right, or what I thought was always right might not be right in the future. So that's the first time you're ever going to see a glimpse of Vegeta saying, he's like, you know what? I learned that I can control my ki, but also learned that, hey, not everything I thought was known to be fact is always going to be fact, and I can change. So in a way, the very slightest sliver of as much as Vegeta could change, you could see that like his mind is opening. Before this, he'd be like, if you remember back when we did the Saiyan saga with Vegeta, everything was based on the scouters, right? It was like power level, power level, power level, power level. And it was like, everything's absolute. I'm the best, Prince of all Saiyans. You're worthless, No, nothing. It was all absolutes, right?
Right.
So Vegeta always worked in absolutes until this point, And now he's like, you know what? I'm learning too now. And that's a really cool moment for Vegeta, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. The idea that I think what he says literally is it doesn't. If you have a higher battle power,
right,
that doesn't necessarily determine the outcome of a fight.
Which is kind of a throwback to what you said a couple episodes about Goku talking
about the theme of the whole thing. Yeah,
exactly.
It's how the way you wrote it here. I love this. I'm just reading your notes. Like it's how much of a dog you got in you.
Yeah.
It's how much effort you put into it and stuff like that, which is, I mean, for Vegeta, this is his first growth moment.
Yeah, first growth moment for Vegeta in the series.
Yeah.
So
is realizing, like I grew up believing a certain thing under the rule of Frieza, that we live in a hierarchy in the universe, which is based on how strong you are. But that's largely based on your talent, your innate attributes. As we know, there are people that are just born to be NBA players.
Right.
They have the talent, and when that talent meets hard work, they can achieve their dreams in that way. And somebody who just works their ass off, who doesn't have that talent, might not get there, or might, whatever. But
there's Spud Webb,
right? Guy, yeah. But he's opening up to the idea that, for Naruto fans out there, it's like Rock Lee. Rock Lee can't do ninjutsu,
right?
So God, you gotta watch Naruto. You gotta learn about Rock Lee. You're gonna love that character.
All right, guys, don't hate me. I'm watching it. I'll get to it. Naruto's on the list, okay? I promise. I'm watching it.
For anyone who's watched both this and that, they're gonna already like, oh yeah, Kevin would fucking love Rock Lee.
Okay.
The whole thing, can't do ninjutsu, so he just trains taijutsu, which is physical techniques, until he can compete with people who literally have magical powers.
Oh yeah.
Which is insane. Anyways.
Okay.
So Vegeta senses the Doria's fear. He calls him out, and then there's a flashback of
Dodoria realizing that Vegeta's power level is over 22,000.
Right.
Yeah, and just saying, hey, you don't. Not everything's what you think it is.
Oh, so this is where Vegeta first introduces the thing that if a Saiyan fights and is pushed to their absolute limit, that they become exponentially stronger, which is a foreign concept to Dodoria, even to Frieza.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you're born with how you're born. Now, this is a thing that gets really screwed up later, and I'll get into it when we get there.
Right.
Because this is awesome. It's like Saiyans grow in response to pressure and pushing themselves to the limit. Later, when it just becomes, no, if a Saiyan almost dies, they become exponentially stronger to the point where it's you could just... If someone could
shoot me,
Yeah, someone could stab me with a sword, and then if I eat a sensu bean, then I'm stronger than I was before. Yeah. Which that I think is stupid. That's a dumb way to power scale.
Work.
Yeah, but this is awesome.
I feel like it's a diamond. It's got to be forged through the pressure.
Right.
That's how you become the best version of yourself.
The most unique thing about Saiyans is that they crave that pressure, and then they also thrive underneath it and grow exponentially stronger.
Yep.
So
like a diamond.
Right.
Okay. Now, that was a huge plot point, right? Get this. We go straight into another big deal plot point that's going to be important for future shows and spin-offs.
Right. So this was in this episode.
I'll let you explain this because this is one of your favorite kind of like, situations.
Yeah. So I've talked before. One of my favorite characters is Bardock, which was not a character that Toriyama fleshed out pre-Super. It was a TV special, the Bardock thing. It was written by Toei staff, and it was so good. Like Toriyama, like later canonized it and then later retconned it, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. But the idea that Frieza, like the 1-2 with this, Vegeta just explained that you can become stronger. It doesn't matter how strong you are now, you can become stronger. And then Dodoria says, like, well, this is actually what Frieza was afraid of.
Yeah.
Is that Saiyans can get stronger.
Yeah.
And why was he afraid? If we treat the Bardock thing as canon, which we can't anymore because it's been retconned, but if we treat it as canon, it was because Goku's father, who was born one of the weakest Saiyans,
lower level,
was now stronger than the king. And it was like, wait a second, like they can increase their battle power this much. I've got to wipe all these dudes out.
These guys are a threat. So pretty important information there.
Right. So he does it. So he blows up Planet Vegeta. It wasn't a meteor. And
then Vegeta blows up Dodoria.
Yep, just blast them into the next dimension, as they used to say in the censored version, which I think is funny as an adult because like kids, you get used to when you're a kid, adults placating you and like hiding things from you. So you're always like hearing what they aren't saying.
Right.
And so when you put this, like, it's like, oh, another dimension. When people use a euphemism, the kid has to do the math of like, oh, that means he's gonna kill him. And like doing that math actually weirdly like makes the impact a little bit greater. Because it's like, it's not like, I'm gonna blast you and you're gonna go into like The Simpsons or something like that. It's literally like, oh yeah, he's gonna kill. Like, and it's like, oh, they're using a euphemism and stuff like that. Like, yeah, the kids connect the dots. It happens.
Yeah. All right, back on track. This is going to be a quick overview real quick here on episode 50. It's called Unexpected Problems, another canon episode. This is actually a really quick note, but fun episode to talk about real quick. This is basically when Goku, there's damage to his ship by a meteorite, and the damage to his ship thrusts his capsule ship off course and into a fiery star's direction.
Right.
So Dr. Brief gives him a quick breakdown and says, hey, you're not on track anymore. If you don't course correct this now, you're going to die in a huge fiery death of a sun, basically going to overtake you and destroy you. So Goku goes out on the ship and he learns to fix it. He has all the gear to fix it thanks to Dr. Brief's planning because he's always on his shit. And they have their gravity moment, like the movie Gravity, or they have their Apollo 13
Sunshine
moment, or they have their Sunshine moment.
If anybody has seen the Danny Boyle sci-fi film
Fantastic
Sunshine,
movie.
There's literally a moment where Cillian Murphy and Hiroyuki Sanada, two amazing actors, they go out on the ship to fix the thing as they're flying towards a star, like before they get cooked. And I
think that any sci-fi show or series or film that has space as a main factor in it has to have a really good, hey, go outside to fix something scene. Like pretty much every film does.
Right.
For the most part. And I love it. And you know what? Dragon Ball has that as well. And it was kind of cool. I mean, any kind of
first to the end of the line, like in some ways, it was like, I mean,
he did this in this
is in the 80s,
this is canon. I mean, so he's like, hey, let's do this, and now all these movies you see, in outer space, some humans trying to survive and showing that's.
Well, I mean, it's like it's so crazy that 2001: A Space Odyssey was made in the 60s.
Oh my God!
And just set the table for everything. I mean, that movie is incredible.
It's a masterpiece.
Absolutely. And so Toriyama benefited, I'm sure, from that too. I mean, it's crazy that something like that was made in the 60s, but
that's basically the breakdown of the episode. Goku gets out there, the glue that he patches up the tear, but the glue that he used to patch it up because it's industrial strength, Gorilla Glue, whatever you need to get a spaceship. I don't know. He's on there. His boots get stuck. So he's like, how the hell am I going to get out of this? So he's stuck. He can't get out of there. And he decides in last moment to Kamehameha the hell out of that thing.
Right.
So he Kamehamehas putting a force, I'm not a physicist, but he uses that force and it pushes his spaceship back out of the gravity
Use
of
it
the
as
sun.
fuel for the thrust.
Exactly. So he fires himself out of there, and boom, he is good. Cool little side tangent, episode. Cool little filler part on this one that was a lot of fun. Now, Krillin and Gohan back on Namek. They get back to Bulma's cave where she tells them the good news that Son Goku is on the way. They freak out.
They do a little dance.
Yeah, do a little
with
dance.
The little kid. Yeah.
They're one of those moments, which is great because it's like, okay, Goku's coming, so now we can breathe a little bit easier right now.
Right.
Now, that's basically the end of the episode.
Oh, but we also, Vegeta senses a Namekian village.
Yeah.
And heads that way. So now
Dun dun dun.
there's some danger on the horizon.
Yeah, because episode 51 happens. Vegeta has a ball. With his new ability to sense energy without a scouter, Vegeta quickly tracks down a Namek village and unleashes a terrifying display of power. Unable to resist the Saiyan's might, the Nameks have no choice but to surrender their Dragon Ball. Now there is only one Dragon Ball left to find, and Dende knows who has it. The eldest Namek.
So yeah, this is Vegeta is not polite. Vegeta is just he just goes in, he's just brutal immediately. This was a really messed up thing. He goes in and just immediately starts killing people.
If I'm Vegeta in the future and I'm meeting Bulma's parents when we're dating, this is one of those moments I probably don't tell Dr. Briefs about,
It's like, so, yeah, what are you into?
What happened to you? Well,
I once destroyed an entire village and killed a dozen children with my hands.
Children.
Yeah, it's like,
Not too long ago, actually.
I don't have you can do Chris Sabat really well because you've got a deep voice. I can't. I can only try to do the other one. But
Yes, I killed a couple of children in a village. Well, it started good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It was a blast.
it was a blast.
yeah. So this is both. So this episode is funny to me because it represents two extremes. It's one of the most brutal things we've seen in Dragon Ball Z. Like, we're actually seeing this genocidal dude who's known. I mean, his job for his entire life has been genocide. Acting out genocide against this village, like in a small microcosmic sort of thing. And it's also one of the worst animated episodes ever. These sequences, I don't know what studio did it. I don't know who the animators are, but oh man, there's moments where Vegeta's neck is super long.
His hair is just
his posture is super weird. I mean, the pressure of making anime is so crazy. You have to have, especially shows like Dragon Ball or One Piece that have year-long release schedule. It's you just have to, it has to get done. Yeah. And some of the animation, it just had to get done, and it looks like it could have benefited from maybe we should just take a few weeks off in between seasons or something like that and polish stuff up. But yeah, it's brutal stuff. Brutal stuff.
Another side note in this episode, besides Vegeta just killing everyone to get that Dragon Ball, which he gets the Dragon Ball, by the way, and he throws it in the pond, literally 10 feet from where he found it.
Right.
But he hides it in the water because he knows pretty much most of the scouters are done, and they're not going to be able to find it.
Right.
So when you go, meanwhile, we see Dende and okay, never mind, just blew it.
Yep. No,
just blew it right there. So Krillin and Gohan and Bulma are talking to this young Namekian boy, and they're explaining to him
he's not eating his food.
Not eating his food.
They gave him food, and they're like, "Why aren't you eating?" He's like, "We don't eat food. We just drink water."
He's like, "Well, my whole race was killed."
Right.
Genocide's happening, but yeah, I'm not too hungry right now.
And this is kind of a weird Krillin moment where he's kind of like, "What? I saw you guys planting crops." He kind of calls him out a little bit, and he's like, "Well, those are Those are the
Trees,
special
yeah.
tree, you know, that
Lollipop trees.
yeah, there are Namekian lollipop trees, and
I think they're
without
called
them, we die.
Agisa, Agissa, or something like that in the Japanese
Yeah,
version.
something
so
like
Agisa
that.
trees.
Yeah.
But they help beautify the planet. And anyways, let me just jump quick on this one.
Yeah, go ahead,
Let's
go
just
ahead.
knock this out. Is that they don't. This is episode 51, and we talked earlier in this episode that around episode like 47, something like that, they met Dende, and like it took 5 episodes before they even find out his name is Dende. They're
Right.
like, hey, by the way, I know we've been hanging out this whole time. Who are you? What's your name? He's like, Dende. So little cool fact there is like, if you have watched the series before, you know that this is actually that whole setup with him on the mountain, which you don't think it's important at that moment,
Right.
is extremely important because Dende's being set up to be the future, spoiler alert, Kame of Earth for the entirety of the rest of the series.
Yeah, he is a Namekian with the ability to make Dragon Balls.
Yeah, he's one of the dragon family of the Namekians.
Right.
Okay, and that was that. And now Frieza takes the Dragon Balls back to his headquarters hideout, or his tick ship, as I like to call it. Looks like a big tick.
Yeah,
kind
it
of thing.
does.
A tick
Yeah.
ship.
Well, a lot of the designs of the Frieza stuff are very like insect
Yeah.
looking, I think.
For show.
Yeah.
He takes the Dragon Balls with him as 5 because he says, you know what? He's like, well, okay, I know Vegeta's out there looking for him. He's like,
And it's
if I
like,
have
Midoriya's
5,
been gone for 3 hours, Mrs. Arbon.
I wonder where he's at.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like, go look for the other Dragon Balls, Mr. Zarbon.
So he sends Zarbon off to go find the remaining 2. And he says, you know what? Fuck it. If Vegeta is going to be looking for balls, he's going to have to find mine. So he'll come to me eventually. So
Right.
another goat move by Frieza there.
So, and Gohan and Krillin sense that Vegeta is killing Namekians.
Yeah, ugh.
They can do it. He's like, he's probably after the Dragon Balls. Dende's like, how the hell do you guys know about Dragon Balls? And they kind of briefly explain what the deal is and stuff like that. Dende does the calculus like, okay, I can trust these guys. We have to go see the Grand Elder, who's called Guru in English.
It's a sad moment, when they're like,
Right.
oh man, they're just all getting slaughtered.
It's like, yeah, we can't do anything. And Dende mentions that the Grand Elder is the parent of all the current Namekians.
Right.
That he was the sole survivor of a cataclysmic event that wiped out the entire planet except for him. And he repopulated the planet himself. I think even Bulma mentions, or maybe it's in the next episode, where she's like, what about like girl Namekians?
Yeah.
And he's like, what's that?
She's like, oh, that's so boring.
She's like, well, how do you guys like reproduce? I grew up in a very sex positive house.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know how you guys fuck. Like, how do you fuck? And then he's like, we spit eggs out of our mouths like normal people, right? Yeah.
It's like, you're crazy, woman. He's like, what are you?
Like sex.
Just kidding,
That's weird. That's very inefficient.
Yeah, we just do the egg thing. But if you've watched Dragon Ball, you kind of already knew that. So that's kind of something that's pretty established decades ago. But
Yeah.
now,
It's something that King Piccolo did. Yeah.
exactly. Now, episode 52, the past and future. Now, they go flying through space on his way to Namek. Goku receives some happy news that his friends have all made it to King Kai's planet. This is a fun little episode because it just gives a little reprieve from all the death, destruction, violence, and craziness that's going on planet Namek.
Right.
But basically, he is celebrating. It's a really touching moment. King Kai basically says, "Hey, guess what? You have 4 friends here," and Goku realizes that it's Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha, and Piccolo. Made it to King Kai's planet in like a quarter of the time that it took Goku. Obviously, Goku fell off and went to hell and had to tread back, but looks like the Z Warriors
by a snake. Yeah.
are going to be at King Kai's place.
And this is significant for a couple of other reasons too. When Goku got to keep his body in the afterlife, his body was literally teleported to the afterlife.
Right.
And so now, not only do all of these people get to keep their bodies, but Chaozu, like King Yema, like reconstructed his body for him. And Piccolo, who has mostly been evil, was not only allowed to keep his body, but was not sent to hell to be purified. He was sent to go train with King Kai. So,
which huge growth moment for Piccolo. So at that point, you know that, okay, because earlier it was established, remember, back in the Saiyan saga, that if you are evil of spirit, you're just going to go straight to hell, basically.
Right. It makes me wonder, where did Kami go during all this time?
Right?
Why didn't he get to go train with King Kai?
I don't know. Yeah, I think Kami's just kind of hanging out with King Yama.
I think Yama hates his guts. He's like, Kami!
He probably does.
Get out!
Yeah, that's a fun.
I don't know why he started, Kami, get out of here! Nah!
Yeah.
Yama,
those levels are hitting
Schwarzenegger.
high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it peeking?
Yeah, you're peeking me.
Oh,
It's
damn.
It's all good.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much that episode.
Right.
I mean, back on Planet Namek, Vegeta and Zarbon, they run into each other, and then they decide, we're gonna do some fighting.
Vegeta sneak attacks him because he can sense his power. Zarbon can't sense his.
Yeah, pretty cool moment. Vegeta and Zarbon, they're flying instead of just stopping and then seeing each other. Vegeta's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go right into him, and he just kind of hits him straight on, full force flying.
Right. And so they have this battle. Zarbon is outmatched, and he says to Vegeta, well, I guess I'm going to have to, transform. And I don't like doing this because I'm pretty, and I don't like not being pretty, but you're going to see, you're going to be afraid when you see what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And Vegeta's just like, oh, you're bluffing, blah, blah, blah. And then he transforms into, a grotesque version of himself and gets a significant power up. I think his power doubles. If I was reading some power scaling about this recently. It's his power shoots up. Vegeta stands no chance. He's just beating Vegeta into the dirt. And this is the first time that we see something that's going to become a trope for the rest of Dragon Ball Z. It's going to take over in a large part training in extreme conditions.
Right.
That transformations equal power up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zarbon does this transformation. He looks more like a Ninja Turtle, I would say.
Definitely.
It's kind of the closest. If you haven't seen it,
Ninja Turtle with a fantastic ponytail.
Yeah, great hair. Ninja Turtle with great hair is basically what it looks like. A big buffed out Ninja Turtle. And only other thing I want to mention from this episode too is that Vegeta definitely has a concussion. I mean, Zarbon just knees him in the head, and then he just goes straight for the head. In front. Right. He's bruised up. He's been. I think he broke his skull. I mean, if I had to if I was a doctor, I'd say his skull probably got broken. But it's pretty cool.
He brutalized.
And
then this is also unique in the narrative. This is the first time we've ever seen Vegeta completely outclassed by somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that Goku Kaioken ×3 was anywhere near this. Yeah.
And it's also interesting to note as well, just a quick little, not tangent, but it's just interesting to note that because Vegeta has already recovered from the fight with Goku, you thought his power level would be even higher. He makes easy work of Dodoria, but you still think, okay, Vegeta's got something more in the tank here. If he's anything like Goku, which he is, then he should be even stronger. But not in Zarbon's case. He comes in and just wipes the floor with his face, basically.
Yeah, and so much of Namek works this way because, as we will see as we continue, it's all it follows this very much growth, obstacle, growth, obstacle, growth, obstacle, and it just keeps doing that over and over and over again. And this is Vegeta's first big obstacle.
Right.
He gets beaten within an inch of his life. Yeah. And then like a river is blasted apart, and he's just in the crater of the river, and then the water just all flows over
him, and then a really cool moment, a very Terminator-esque moment, very horror film moment. You'll see at the very end is that it cuts to a shot of the river and the water and the lake, and there's this bird, kind of like a crane, just gazing on or chilling in the water. And Vegeta's hand rises from the lake and just grabs the bird. a really cool moment there.
Sustenance!
Too. Yes, and it probably ate the bird. I don't know if he could even walk, but move. Now we get to another cool episode. That was 53 that we just finished there, with Zarbon's transformation, Zarbon's surprise, and we go straight into Guru's gift. Really cool episode. A little more touching, a little more backstory on the Namekians and what they're about.
And this is where we meet
Nail. This is the introduction of Nail.
Which I said in the last episode, Nail is the strongest person on the planet Namek, aside from Frieza. If he wanted to, I mean, his duty is to guard the Grand Elder.
Right.
And if he didn't have that duty, I mean, assuming that nobody had their scouters, he could have killed Dodoria easily. He could have killed Zarbon transformed easily. He could have killed Vegeta. He could have killed everybody, literally. With complete ease. Like it wouldn't even phase him to do. But he's just chilling there. He looks just like Piccolo. And we see the eldest Namek. I believe he reads Krillin's mind. Is that correct?
So not really. So okay, I watched this earlier today actually.
Okay.
So Krillin, Gohan's actually chilling out with Bulma. Let's just put that reference. He's chilling. He stays there.
Right.
And then Dende and Krillin go to meet the Elder Namek so he can get the last Dragon Ball because that's where we know it for sure that Elder Namek still has the other one. We don't know. We know Frieza has 5. We know Vegeta has 1. And we know the Elder still has 1. So it's important that they get there quickly. So they get there as fast as they can. It's not too far away. And he meets Nail. Krillin meets Nail. And he also meets the Elder, who actually might be Marlon Brando of Namek. He has has a look like the old like Godfather Marlon Brando. They might have really stole his like image, like for real. Like
could have, yeah.
Yeah, it very much has a Marlon Brando-esque vibe to the Elder Namek, like a Island of Dr. Moreau kind of thing. You know, like
we were talking off pod too about how sometimes like the way that like a voice is found because like in Japan. When people get a character, it's treated like acting. It's like, okay, here's the character, here's their backstory, here's all this stuff, and they build the character based on that. Oftentimes in America, unless this has changed radically in the last 6 years or so, this is not how it works. Generally, you're just given a picture, or sometimes not even that.
Right.
You're just given a description of the character.
Right.
And then based on the picture, you're like, well, I think this guy would sound kind of like this. Or something like that. But it would be funny if someone got a picture of this guy and started going like, oh, yes, I am the Grand Elder of the planet Namek. Thank you for bringing my 108th child Dende safely to me.
what can I do for you to help repay you for the debt of saving Dende, huh?
It's like, what did I do to earn such disrespect, Krillin?
That's pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah, funny story. Like I know a ton of tangents. I know we're
like way overboard.
We're way over.
I
swear to God, this is my last tangent. So Brian Drummond, the original English voice actor of Vegeta, wasn't even given a picture of Vegeta. He was told Vegeta is an alien and he's a prince. So in his mind, he pictured like an alien, like a creature, a bug, and he's a prince. So that's why he gave him kind of this voice, you know, something that sounds a little bit like a creature or something. And then that's what got him cast. And only when he was cast, you know, it's like, okay, here's the picture, go. And he's like, oh, so I'm doing this voice to this character, but it weirdly it worked out.
Worked.
All right.
We need to get into that deeper. I wish we had the time to do that now, but we really just do not on this podcast.
Totally.
So we're going to table that. We're going to table this whole that conversation and do a whole, probably a good 5 to 10 minute detailed explanation of our thoughts about the Japanese original audio and English dubs and like how voice acting translates and what could be done better and what's done really well. But that's something we want to talk about.
Right.
We talked about it off pod earlier, but we do. I feel like that warrants an actual conversation.
Totally.
Unfortunately, we do not have the time on this episode.
And a respectful one.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We're not haters of dubs. We're not haters of the English voice actors and stuff like that. But we should dive into it at some point.
So just a tangent. We are going to get in that. Actually, we'll do that next episode. That'll be our first thing before we get into the episodes, okay?
Oh, yeah. We
Sounds
can do
good.
that, yeah.
Okay, so now we are back on... Okay, so anyways, still in episode 54, Krillin's with the Grand Elder. Grand Elder says, hey, come over here. I'll give you a power. I'll unleash your hidden strength.
Right.
And he's like, what? True potential, whatever you want to call it. Basically, he touches his head. He gives him a little like a flashback to, it wasn't like reading Krillin's mind so much as is like, it was like, because Krillin didn't know Kami like he did. And it shows a cool little flashback of Kami, how Kami came to be, how Kami split himself from his evil because you can't be the Kami or the guardian of Earth as like a god character if you have evil in your heart. So he had to split that out. And that's actually where Piccolo Daimo came from.
Right.
You know? And so it does a really cool explanation. I don't really know the purpose of this scene, for that, but it did show that, and it kind of explained that, hey, he was able to split that apart. But somehow I don't know how that relates to Krillin at all, because it wasn't really reading Krillin's memories, but I don't know. It was there for a reason.
It's magic.
It's magic. And then he releases Krillin's potential, and he's a lot stronger. He can fly faster too. I know that.
Right.
And he says, hey, Elder, I feel great. He just got steroids. Just like, boom.
And he says, can you do this with anybody? And Elder's like, yeah, as long as they have hidden reserves. It's like, well, if I bring you someone who I know has hidden reserves, can I do it? And then he's like, yeah, sure.
So that's going to...
Yeah, you can bring me your friend, please.
Bring your friend to the Godfather.
Your friend, I'll give him his powers.
Okay.
All right, so episode 55. We got two left.
Yeah, let's go.
Chugging along. We got this. Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu begin King Kai's training, which, as we know, is first trying to make him laugh. Second, trying to catch bubbles, which I think they all, threw some shade at Goku here, because King Kai is like, it took Goku 3 months to do this, to catch bubbles.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it took him 3 months to catch, and they're all just like, it took Goku 3 months to catch a monkey, and I think that they all bring it in much quicker than that. So they begin the training. Piccolo challenges them to a 3-on-1 fight. Because he's like, that's the only training I do. What do you guys want me to do? Rip myself into two beings here and fight myself? It's like, no, we all gotta fight. Meanwhile, yeah.
Sorry, I left for a second. I had to check one thing, but I'm back. Anyways, quick note to.
I missed you.
I know, I missed you too, buddy. But very important to note that when they're chasing bubbles, it's always interesting to me that Piccolo is always ahead of the other guys, but he's behind Goku always, but not really. In this situation, his training when he's on King Kai, comparable to when Goku was on King Kai's planet, and it took Goku 3 weeks to catch bubbles.
Right.
It took Piccolo, I think, 1 minute. So it's kind of cool to do a power scale where it's like, hey, he's stronger in the moment that he's on King Kai's planet, but he's always, a little bit weaker than Goku.
Yeah, although I think that, we talked about Goku being a genius of training. I think that also applies to Piccolo.
Yeah.
And I feel like if he was Saiyan rather than Namekian, he might have surpassed Goku.
Right.
Because he just lives training. Goku sometimes has downtime. He takes baths. He farms,
Yeah,
he does that, but Piccolo is just always levitating and meditating and increasing his power somehow.
Yeah.
So
very true.
Yeah.
All right. Now where were we at?
So Zarbon gets back to the ship, and Frieza's like, wait a second, are you telling me you killed Vegeta?
Right.
Did you kill Vegeta? Oh, so he might have had a Dragon Ball. Did you find the location of that? And then he says to Zarbon, you better go get him, and you better pray that he's alive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to come and murder your ass.
Says it straight. That's literally verbatim what he said.
Yeah,
basically.
that's literally what he says. Even in the TVY version.
Yeah.
It's that's the original dialogue. And I believe that this is also when Frieza orders one of his henchmen to summon the Ginyu Special Forces.
Yeah, really important moment there too, because he said, hey, summon the Ginyu Force, and then Zarbon says, he's like, Ginyu Force? So do we
surely, my lord, we don't need somebody
that.
that... Yeah.
He's like, do we need to get the Ginyu Force? And he's covering all his bases.
Right.
This is smart, man. Frieza's smart. He's like, look, we're already going through little, side steps and setbacks that we don't need to be dealing with. We have to deal with Vegeta now. He's like, you know what? Screw this. Zarbon, I kind of think I could trust you, but why not just call the Navy SEALs of my platoon?
We need scouters.
Yeah, and we need new scouters.
We're not gonna just comb the rest of the planet hoping that we find the other Dragon Balls. We need scouters, and also this is Vegeta's little speech coming to life.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't matter that Frieza is the most powerful dude in the universe, because the dogs are keeping the Dragon Balls away from him. The Krillins, the Vegetas, all that stuff. So it's like, all right, well, I got to summon a task force to wipe out all the dogs.
So cool moment there, because Ginyu Force is a lot of fun too.
Right.
Now, episode 56, this is the last one we're going to cover on this episode. Thank you guys. If you're still here, thank you for staying the whole hour and a half because we love you and are thankful that you're here. Now, quick breakdown here. Vegeta makes a daring escape from the clutches of Frieza and manages to take the Dragon Balls with him. Now, Krillin returns with his Dragon Ball from Guru and hopes to bring Gohan to meet him, which we talked about a couple minutes ago,
Right.
in order to unlock the hidden powers within the young Saiyan. Now, while Goku continues his journey through space to join the others on Namek, Zarbon sets out to find Vegeta and the Dragon Balls, or he himself will face the consequences.
So Vegeta was in a Bacta tank. He was getting healed so that they could torture the information out of him.
Exactly.
And then he did.
Bad move, by the way. I know you want to heal him, and you have to heal him quick. But
Right.
Zarbon, they're just watching. Zarbon and a couple lackeys are just watching Vegeta in the Bacta tank.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I was like, this
And
guy.
then Zarbon walks away, and then there's
Yeah.
the horror moment thing where Vegeta's eyes open.
Yeah.
The henchman gets blasted. Vegeta tricks Frieza and Zarbon and steals all the Dragon Balls, just chucks them, throws them all away, and damages Frieza's ship. So now Frieza can't. Well, Frieza can breathe in space, but
Great move by Vegeta. He wins this episode for sure.
Right.
I mean,
this was a badass moment.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, I feel like because Vegeta's the most popular character in the fandom in the U.S. for sure. I think for a lot of people, this was like one of those clinching moments where it's like, oh yeah, Vegeta, he might be evil, but he's a badass, and I love him.
and that was a super cool moment. So not only did he got in the Bacta tank, he probably doubled up his power level again.
Right, because
After-
he's beaten within an inch of his life.
After just getting his ass kicked 2 episodes ago. So now he's like doubly strong again. So instant power up and a free Bacta tank bath. And then he gets 5 of the Dragon Balls.
Right.
So he's got 6 Dragon Balls, basically.
Yeah. Or
At least
so
to
he
his
thinks.
knowledge. At least to his knowledge.
Yeah.
So that's just really cool. Way to win it. I think this episode, Vegeta wins for sure.
Yeah, a great reversal of fortunes, a great, pebble in Frieza's shoe.
And just a cool plot twist. I mean, like I said, all these episodes, they're fun and they're full of really cool, meaty kind of plot twists,
Right.
It's good. A lot of anime, some are great, but there's a lot of anime sequences or shows where it's just you can get drab or boring or this or that. And this, dude, this has got a lot of dynamic stuff going on here. A lot of stealth action.
Yeah.
A lot of creative things happening from a narrative standpoint that you don't always get every episode.
And it was first to market to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like all the things, this was the progenitor for all of the anime that's been shaping culture since, from Naruto to One Piece to Bleach, all that stuff. All of that stuff in some part owes a huge debt of gratitude to Toriyama. And I think none. Hold on. Shit, I fucked that up. I feel like no more so than saying Saga Namek Saga.
Yeah.
100%. Those are just the creme de la creme of the story of Dragon Ball Z.
Bon appetit.
And that's it for this week's recap.
Yeah, that was great. I think we're going to be getting into the Guinea Force pretty soon here. So
Yep, they've been summoned.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're almost at the final conflict, and then we're thinking about what our next move is. We might be taking a break from Dragon Ball and exploring an anime that neither Kevin nor I have seen, Jujutsu Kaisen, which everybody loves.
I think we're going to go in Virgin on this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. A lot of my friends that I grew up with who have my same tastes and sensibilities are like, this is one of the best shows. You absolutely have to watch it. It's incredible. And so I'm excited to see it.
Right.
And when you said you hadn't seen it too, I'm like, we got to watch that and react on pod. Because it'll be so much different from this.
Yeah.
It's like this I know so well. And it's like that, I get to explore
It'll
it.
be fresh and new for us too. But we still have a couple chunks to go before we're there.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again. As always, we're going to keep chugging along. Namek, as we mentioned earlier, we're going to do a one-off where we talk about voice acting and sort of the differences between Japan and America. There are so many differences, and they're worth talking about. They're interesting. We're at some point going to cover the movies because there's a lot to cover with the movies. There's
Great
a lot.
Great movies.
Yeah, they came out contemporaneous to a lot of these things. There were themes that kind of carried over that they showed in sort of non-canonized ways that were really interesting. And of course, we'll be covering other anime, going down, doing things that we've never seen before. And then later this year, a new Dragon Ball series will premiere. And I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but we're gonna have a really fun time watching that shit live. So come over and hang out with us bees in the hive.
So when it premieres, make sure to be here.
Oh, there we go.
I know, yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Please remember to follow us on nerdyjock_media, TikTok, Instagram, anywhere you do your social media.
Facebook and everything.
Yeah, and if you're right here on our home YouTube, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment, ask questions. You know, we want to hear from you. And we're not like those other YouTubers. Like, we will absolutely talk to you.
Yeah.
We'll comment back. You know, we might have a phone number at some point.
Yeah.
You know, we're growing this thing. It's going to be fun. Thank you for coming on this journey with us to Namek. Join us next week as we cover the next exciting chunk and meet the Ginyu Special Force.
Ginyu! All right. See you guys later. All right.
All right.
Another one. Boom.
Boom.